Welcome to the Finding the Magic podcast, where books come alive. I'm Tricia Copeland, a fiction author and host of this show. If you love books, finding great reads, and hearing about the story behind the story directly from the authors, this is the place for you. Whether you like fantasy, science fiction, dystopian, or romance titles, I think you'll find something to love in my playlist. Listen in to discover something magical about a book or two today.
Welcome, Alex.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Today we have Alexandra Villasante with us. She is a young adult writer, author of Fire Blooms, and also The Grief Keeper. I want to dive into your new release, Fire Blooms, set up the story, the world. What are we going to find inside?
So, Fire Blooms is a speculative YA romance, and speculative just means that it is kind of the world you know, but has some technology that maybe is far into the future or doesn't exist or may never exist, but it's totally plausible. So, it's a little bit different from like sci-fi where you've got like robots and all that kind of stuff. It's like this is a world that I could see and understand. And that speculative element in Fire Blooms is the city of New Galt. So it's a city that's kind of thinks of itself as a utopia. It has the best school system. It has the best medical center. It's got everything is brand new. And if you move into New Galt and you have kids between the ages of 13 and 18, then you get to experience all this stuff for free. You live there for free. Your food is free, your schooling is free, and all you have to do in exchange, because there's always the fine print, right? Your kids have to pay for all the words that they use, so they are surveilled and tracked when they speak, when they text, when they write, any text messages or anything like that. So that's the world that my book is set in, and the two main characters, because it's a dual point of view. One of them is Lou, who is a non-binary poet, a heart of gold, who has experienced bullying in the past and really feels like New Galt is where they can be safe because if you're paying for your words, there's no hate speech. And on the other side of things is Sebastian, who comes out of town, and he is really coming into New Galt to help his mom who abandoned the family when he was younger, because she has a cancer diagnosis, and so he's coming into this strange new world, and they kind of like there's a little friction between them at first. I really love a romance that is like a slow burn or a little bit of like, I wouldn't say enemies to lovers, but a little bit of friction where you're like not really understanding each other and not coming from the same place. And then slowly you kind of do get to come together. So yeah, that's the world of Fire Blooms, and a lot of interesting things happen, let's say.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I was reading the blurb, sort of quote unquote, from the back of the book, and yeah, I was confused about paying for the words because from the blurb, I kind of got that you had to pay for any words that might be negative, not just
Mhm.
every word that you said, speak text, right? That's
Yeah. So it's really like you get a data plan. It's like the in if you're old enough to remember when you had data plans and you could run out of cell phone minutes and talk time and texting time. It's sort of based on that. So innocuous words or words in school are really inexpensive. They're practically, they're like, a hundredth of a cent kind of thing. They're really not negligible. But then you sort of go up from there, that anything is that it's questionable, and anything that is maybe could be insulting, all the way up to what they call the dirty 30, which is like all the main words that you're not supposed to say. And it's more than just the words themselves, but how you say them and if you're using them in a denigrating way. So I could really see how somebody who's looking for a technological solution to bullying and hate speech could think like, great, we solved it. Tick, I'm
check
all
the
good,
box.
check the box. This is easy. Kids aren't difficult, right? Which is where things kind of go wrong.
Well, yeah, just make up new words that mean the same thing, right? I mean, that's
Exactly.
what kids are going
So,
to do.
right,
And
there's
who,
slang, yeah.
right, and who is it that's going to decide what words are good and what words are bad? And And where are they getting this money from if nobody gets paid or nothing costs anything either?
Yeah, so this is one of those things, and I had this idea from a lot of things, but doing a lot of research, and there were a few years ago there was one particular, like it was supposed to be like this tech city utopia being built in Canada, and it was going to have a lot of these services, and like everything would be so frictionless in your life, where you would, get into your car and get into your school, and there would be no traffic, and there would be no, all the things that are like inconvenient in life, like, oh, the garbage man didn't come, or this is whatever is difficult, or there's road work, everything would be seamless, right? And that to pay for that in this real world example, it would just be really expensive. So that would be for people who are like, the 1%, people who really can afford it. But I wanted to see what something like that would do if you were trying to be a socially responsible company, if you were like, oh, we want to change the world, we want to make it better. So it's what I like to say, it's a failing utopia. It doesn't know it's a failing utopia yet, because it's not sustainable for all the reasons that you said, for the money, for the, for the inequality that is just, if your kid is somebody who maybe has anger management issues, or your kid speaks another language and they get an advantage. So it's a system that will not work. And I think in the process of the book, the characters find that out and find out all the ways that it doesn't work.
Right. And from each different point of view, because Lou is thinking, oh, this is great. I'm not being bullied. I'm safe.
Right.
But probably doesn't realize all the other implications of someone controlling free speech,
Right.
I guess, right?
Right.
And then Sebastian is coming from it like, whoa, like,
Right.
oh no, you're taking away my freedom. And I mean, you could have an extrovert that likes to talk all the time and
Sure.
really cares about this, and then an introvert's like, I could give my money away, selling
Right.
their
Right.
money to another kid, right?
Right, right. I that's actually something I thought about. Like, would there be like a way to have like a black market for words?
For
But then I
words.
was like, no, I'm making it too confusing. But I
Yeah,
thought,
that's
like,
too much.
I do believe that kids, if this were real, kids would absolutely take advantage of it and have it figured out in about a week and a half.
And can I sell you my points? Just like we
Right,
used to
right.
sell people gum, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
in,
Out of your like backpack,
in
absolutely. I
middle
think they
school.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have your lunch pass? Can I have your hall
Yeah.
pass?
Can I have your unused words? Yeah.
So this is interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. And I saw there was an audiobook version too. So that's my go-to.
I love an audiobook. I cannot lie. I don't understand when people say it's not reading. It absolutely is reading, and it's how I read most of my books.
I'm glad you said that. It makes me feel good. So is this your second novel?
Yeah, it's my second novel. I have published 5 short stories in young adult anthologies, but this is only only my second full YA novel. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. And I looked up
Thank
the first
you.
novel is The Grief Keepers. Is that, I saw it was YA. Is it Senor
Mhm.
Janya, like science fiction, speculative
It
fiction?
It is speculative. It is basically, it's got a lot of themes. I like to talk about a lot of themes when I'm writing, but it is about two sisters from El Salvador who leave their country because of the violence there, and they come into the United States. They're, underage, 16 and 12, 17 and 12, and they are immediately detained by ICE, and they are given a choice. The eldest sister Marisol is given a choice of either be immediately deported, or she can partake in a clinical trial for a device that transfers grief from one person to another. So that's that speculative
Mm,
element. It's like the
mhm.
real world, we have immigration issues and all that stuff, but the speculative piece is a technological device that would transfer grief from one person to the other. And Marisol says yes, because she wants her sister to be safe. And then she has to take on the grief of another teen who has had a traumatic event. And it's I'm always thinking about the speculative elements, because I feel like introducing that tiny bit of either technology or a tiny twist on what our current day is a really good way of focusing in on some of the issues that we have, especially for kids. So they can immediately, like, you tell somebody, so she has to wear a device that transfers grief from another person to her. So she has to receive all this grief, and they immediately understand what that means. They immediately can sort of empathize with what somebody would experience if they had to do that.
Right. It stretches our thinking a little bit to be, or to me, it invigorates thinking. And thank you for explaining speculative fiction because that was gonna be my first question before you explained it. So I'm sorry I didn't thank you enough because
No, that's all
sometimes
right.
people throw that word around. And I had a book that had like alternate endings in it, and it was a
Oh.
romance. And somebody said, "Well, it's a speculative romance," and I'm like, "Well, I guess maybe, but I don't know that that's the right definition of that."
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, like, so I didn't always know these. I just started writing and then was like, wait, I think this is called this. But yeah, the speculative thing could be under a lot of different ways under the science fiction umbrella. But yeah,
Right. Yeah. So mine was not speculative at all.
right.
It was just alternate ending, but that's
Yeah.
okay. But so you could think of it as a little bit sci-fi light, but something
Hmm.
to, stretch somebody's thinking and stretch
Yep.
somebody's what if and think about an issue. And I like to say fantasy and sci-fi is an easy way, or not an easy way, a good way, I think, to explore themes and think about issues in maybe a little bit safer environment for middle grade
Absolutely.
to YA, even adults. I mean,
Oh, for
I love
sure.
sci-fi and
Absolutely.
fantasy, so hand me one
Me
and I'm
too.
good. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're so right about that because I think especially writing for kids and teens, the world is a difficult place, and a lot of teens have great lives that are wonderful, but a lot of teens don't. So, what are the ways that they can kind of understand their own experiences if those experiences are hard, or the experiences of others if they're a friend or someone they know is going through something? How can they empathize? And really, books that sort of take readers through this journey are a great way to do that because you can do it, you can understand it, you can, as you said, sort of expand your thinking a little bit, but you can do it from a place of safety.
and is that why you chose to write in the genre? How did you get into YA writing in the first place?
Oh, I mean, I just love reading YA. I just like that's what I say to people that it's because I stopped like I have kids and I keep them alive and I also pay taxes, but internally I never got much past 16. Like I really love that age. I really love reading the books about teenagers, but also I love that that's an age where you're really becoming yourself. You're sort of like doing that life affirming work of who am I, who do I want to be, what do I want to be influenced by, what do I don't want to be influenced by, and like that's really powerful stuff. So I love that.
Yeah, it seems like at that age, you're like, anything is possible. I'm on the cusp of
Yeah,
being an adult. I have more freedom. I have a little bit more power. And, it seems like anything
yeah.
is possible, at least to hopefully many young adults, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think and showing them again more of those possibilities through a lot of different relationships and places and experiences in books is just another way that they can sort of be like, maybe I'm like that. Wait, maybe I'm not like that. Maybe I'm more like this.
Yeah, it's interesting that in Fire Blooms, you really looked at that issue of privacy and safety and security from those different angles of Lou looking at that and saying, oh, this keeps me safe. But,
Mhm.
and Sebastian saying, oh, but what are you losing here? That's those issues can be so double-edged. And sometimes we might not even realize things we're giving up if it's just a normal for us, right?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I feel like one of the things I love about both of their characters is how they challenge each other, and it really isn't just in one way. It's not just like Sebastian's coming in and saying, "Lou, you're wrong about these things." Like they really are challenging each other to sort of take a step back and think about the different situations they're in, and and they help each other in that way because they do come from different perspectives, and I love that about them. Like they're not just, they don't find each other perfect. They don't come and say, well, this is the done deal, you're perfect. They're sort of working through it. And I, like, again, I said, like, that slow burn, slightly angsty. I am such a 16-year-old girl on the inside. Love me some angst, love me some emo stuff. So anyway, that's a sidebar.
Are your kids old enough to read your books yet?
They are, yes. Well, one of them is, and she hasn't. That's my secret shame. She's like, she's like, I prefer nonfiction. I don't know what to do.
My
I
kids are
can't
the
get it.
same. They're like, I'm running away, mom.
Yeah,
I think it's the kid thing, right?
I think you're right. I think you're right.
It's super fun. Where do you go from here? What's next for you?
So, a couple of things. The thing that's going to be published next hasn't been announced yet, so I can't talk about that. But I am working on a, like I mentioned to you, I had short stories in five young adult anthologies, and what was cool about that is they were all different kinds. Like one was like a horror anthology, another one was all like about the horoscope, like astrological signs, like really fun things. Another one was a retelling of like um canonical stories, sort of like, if you want a retelling of the Raven by Edgar Allan Poe or things like that. So that was really fun for me, and I was like, you know what, I think I have an idea for an anthology. So myself and a couple of friends are putting together a proposal for an anthology that would be kind of speculative and kind of about like who gets to be human. We'll just leave it at that. But
Oh,
who gets to be human? Is it a chatbot? Is it an AI? Is it a cryptid? Like, what does it mean to be human? And so that's just proposal stage, and like, who knows if it'll ever come to fruition? But it's a lot of fun.
well, AI is a great thing to think about and talk about right
Mm,
now, especially with this new generation. I think they're going to be so used to using it and so comfortable using it, but sort of like fire blooms, what are the repercussions of all that,
right,
having an
right.
AI talk to you?
A
And
hundred, a
I'm just
hundred percent.
experiencing that for the first time, so I'm like dipping my toes in the water. So,
Yeah, well, because I don't know how old your kids are, but like we're learning about it, and we're like, what is this? And they're getting it so much sooner, so they're like native to it. They're like, yeah,
mhm.
this works like this, AI works like that. Don't trust. Like I've had my kids. I'm looking at something, scrolling by, and I'm like, that's weird. And they'll be like, it's AI. I'm like, how can
Not
you
real.
tell? And they're like, what do you mean? How can you tell? It's so obvious. I'm like, it's not obvious to me. So they already have like an ability to see things. So yeah, so I love all that stuff. I love like all the what if questions, all the weird stuff.
Fun. So it sounds like, well, and Fire Blooms is LBGTQ book.
Mhm.
Is the Grief Keeper as well?
Yeah, all my characters are queer. It's just and they all are Latinx, so that's just a reflection of who I
Mm.
am. So yeah, in the Grief Keeper, it's Marisol is falls for the person that she's taking the grief on from,
Oh,
who her name is Rayanne Ray. And in this book, Lou is non-binary, and Sebastian is a Mexican American boy. And yeah, like, these are just the people in my life. So it's easy to write about them and tell their stories. And I think we need more of that anyway in today's world.
yeah, and it's so fun. It's Hispanic Heritage Month now, so
I know. We still have another 2 weeks. I'm really excited.
that's
I
great. Yeah,
love it. I
hopefully.
love seeing all the book recommendations come out. Like, and I'm just like filling up my TBR because it's a great time.
Well, I'm glad you reminded me that we have 2 weeks left because I usually do like a Hispanic Heritage Month blog post with like all the new authors from this year and all the great books. And I'm like, oh, do I have time to do that?
You do.
So I'm
You have until
fine.
October 15th. You've got plenty of time.
Yay, a whole week.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh. October is really going fast.
It is. The whole fall seems that way to me.
Mhm.
Well, I'm super excited about your book, Fire Blooms. I wish you the best of luck. And please come back when you have your new releases released or at least official and talk to us about those.
Wonderful. Trisha, thanks so much for having me. This was a blast.
Oh, thank you. Tell us where we can find you and your books.
Yeah, so my website is Alexandra Villasante altogether .com, and you can find me on Instagram at Magpie Writes. So
Okay.
it's Magpie Writes, WRITES. And I'm on there mostly, almost really way too much. Honestly, way too much. Yeah.
Well, great. And it sounds like your books are probably wide on all the sources. You said you have
Yeah.
audiobooks as well, too. So
Yeah, the audiobook is really, I've just listened to the one for Fire Blooms, and it's two wonderful narrators. It's really beautiful. Yeah, you can get my books at all of the places you get books. I particularly love my own independent bookstore in my town, but on bookshop.org, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere that you can find books, I'll be there.
well, thank you. And thank you for supporting your local bookstore.
Yeah, thank you, Trisha. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Finding the Magic podcast. I'm your host, author and podcaster Trisha Copeland, and I love getting behind the scenes. If you like the podcast, make sure to subscribe and stop in each week to discover new authors and books. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep finding the magic.